Hello, everyone. Welcome to the December 2025 TSANet update. I'm going to go through a few slides, and there'll be some time in the end to ask questions. So if you do have questions, please enter them into the chat window, and we'll be sure to pick those up and answer them. For those that are new to TSANet, just a quick overview. We're set up as a not-for-profit. We have around 900 technology companies, and the whole focus of TSANet is to enhance multi-vendor support. So wherever you have shared customer experiences, that's where we are looking to improve that customer experience. If we take a look at the end of year membership, we are at 937 members. I provided a bit of a overview on kind of how that membership is set up today. You can see a majority are limited members. And again, if you're familiar with limited membership, these are companies that elite members invite into their partner programs. So that's how a limited member comes in. Of course, they can have more than one of those relationships, and at some point, they upgrade into the general membership. If we look at the general membership, though, it's pretty well balanced between the elite, the premium, and standard membership. So we see a pretty good balance there. As we go into 2026, though, we have started to see more elite members, and the thing that really seems to be driving that is the Connect integration. So the Salesforce connectors, the Dynamics connectors, soon to be ServiceNow connectors, and I'll provide an update on that. That does seem to be driving a lot of interest towards elite membership. And then, of course, you see we've got a very large limited membership upgrade potential, so that will be a focus for us as well. And then just overall, if we take a big step back from TSANet, probably a decade ago, we were, maybe 150 members or something like that. So you can see tremendous growth, and that has come from elite members with partner programs. So if you're an elite member and you don't have a partner program, you probably continue to hear from us that's something that, of course, is a win-win. It's helpful for you to make certain that you have all the partners you need to collaborate with, but it also helps our membership to start to bring these companies into the TSA network. So if we look at the overall member benefits, we have these the three areas: the technology partner framework, the TSANet Connect partner collaboration platform, and then, of course, the TSANet Community. I'm going to kind of provide a current state on each of these, and then when we go into 2026, I'll just kind of highlight at a high level what you'll be seeing in each of these areas. So taking a look at the overall strategy, we do have a 3-year plan. You can see here, again, it's organized into these 3 different areas. So the partner framework, we have been working on and enhancing the certified partner programs for quite some time, and we have quite a few very large technology certified partner programs on there. Red Hat Connect, VMware Tap, Nutanix Elevate, so quite a few, and we're talking 200 plus partners into those. But what we've started to do here in 2025 is now working on the solution and OEM partnerships. Again, those tend to be a bit more customized and have a bit more requirements, and that's where TSANet Connect 2.0 has really helped out. And then you can see moving into 2026, we do plan to expand into the service provider space. I'll provide a little more detail on that in the 2026 plans. And then for Connect, we've got TSANet Connect 2.0. That was actually started back in 2023. We are feature complete now in 2025. We do have 2 connectors, the Salesforce connector as well as the Microsoft Dynamics connector. We've also have completed custom integration to the Cisco Smart Bonding solution. So we've got quite a few integrations coming in, and of course, kind of the base functionalities all in place. As we go into 2026, again, I'll provide more details on this, but we're now moving into the Connect 3.0 era. And there'll be some activities in that. Probably the biggest one is a new connector, which is ServiceNow. And of course, that aligns very closely with the whole fact of service provider. So that when it comes to service provider, ServiceNow is kind of the Salesforce of that community. So we feel that that's an important connector to have. And then, of course, we continue to do the the regional focus groups through the period. If we take a look at the technology partner framework, just from a very high level, probably the two things that I want to emphasize here is the bottom tier, the blue. That has really been TSANet start, and then obviously then expanding into the certified partner. So this is kind of where we've grown into the 900 plus members. The thing I think that's really helped the growth there is the fact that it is a one size fits all collaboration model. So it's this common customer collaboration, which is bi-directional, requires dual entitlement, tends to be low frequency, but when it's needed, it's really needed. So we kind of call those complex escalations. So that's definitely allowed us to scale, makes things very consistent. But as you go into the top tier of partnering, so joint solutions, bundled products such as OEMs, some of the requirements start to change and be enhanced. So that's, again, where we see maybe there's some defined directions, maybe there's some streamlined entitlement, tends to be higher frequency. You certainly could do things like a warm transfer and escalation. And this is also where we see kind of knowledge and training being important as well. So this kind of top tier is where we are starting to work now. If we look at the certified partner journey, if you take a look at this, and again, this is a very repeatable process. We've been doing this for probably 10 years now. And again, this has been pretty refined, is well documented. We got a lot of use cases here. But the key is as soon as there is a certification of a integration, then that partner is onboarded in the Connect. And that allows the sales teams to feel confident that they can sell a solution, and support teams feel confident that, hey, if something goes wrong, they can contact the vendor or vice versa. So I think this just provides a better experience. Then you see a lot of partner pages where they've got logos and there's unclarity on who supports what. And I think customer experience in those environments is certainly not as well as if you have it quite clearly defined in TSANet Connect supporting it. So that's a certified piece. And again, this collaborative support process, which is for both common customer as well as certified, has been around for quite a while. And this is kind of the base use case of TSANet Connect, also with the Salesforce and Dynamics connectors. And that is, one where this can work either way. There's a dual entitlement. So there is this concept of sending a request, needing that request accepted. There's some entitlement that each vendor member is doing independently, but that ultimately is connecting them together so they can work on behalf of the customer. So like I said, it tends to be very complex issues that we find in this category. So then the two new ones, we have solution support process. And again, this, I'm just kind of go through this fairly quickly because solution support OEM is somewhat similar. These tend to still be sold separately, but jointly supported. So some examples, Microsoft integrated support, NetApp FlexPod, right, where you can buy the products within the channel or however the customer purchase it. But there is a higher level commitment between the two vendors to support that solution. So with that comes some streamlined entitlement, some of those things where you might have a warm transfer, you might have critical escalation process in that, but there's essentially taking a look at what are the things we need to do to make certain that the solution is properly sold and supported in the marketplace. And then OEM support, this is another one we're going to be pushing. And of course, this is the classic, I've just showed a hardware software vendor here, but I know there's quite a few other models. But the key is one of the vendors is taking ownership of the customer interface. So they're selling it, it's contact me, we'll take care of everything. There's some downstream escalation with the other vendor. And again, you see a lot of these flexibility in the process. Maybe it just requires a hardware replacement. Maybe there's a need to collaborate on technical support. Maybe there's a critical escalation. So again, whatever the product requires from an OEM standpoint, we can now enable those through the Connect platform. So then moving into TSANet Connect. If you're not familiar with Connect, this is our second generation. As I indicated, we'll be moving into third generation here next year. But I would say this is by far the largest effort that we've had on the Connect platform. It's required a lot of architectural changes, a lot of development effort, but we, again, are at a feature complete stage. So it does do bidirectional create and update. It does notes and attachments. There's SLA monitoring, escalation management. And then there's a suite of how you connect into the platform. So you can just use the web app, which of course everyone has access to. We have the two connectors that are available, so Salesforce and Dynamics. But then you can also do custom integration, such as we've done with the Cisco Smart Bonding solution. There's been a lot of effort on the security side. That tends to be the number one question that's asked when members want to take this on. It's a lot of effort in that area as well. So again, taking a look at the current state, we do have the web app, the two connectors in place today, and then we'll be starting the service now beginning of next year. And then we do have the ability to do custom integration. The APIs are documented. We have the ability to kind of work with companies to do that integration. So that is definitely a possibility as well. We tend to make sure that we review those with the board to make sure that it's necessary to do a custom integration, because of course we would much prefer connector approach, because that is much more scalable than custom integrations. But the other thing I would just highlight is it does not matter, and I think this is something I do need to stress, and whenever I do demos, I show it as well, is every way that you interface to this is feature compatible. So if you are on Salesforce and you want to collaborate with a member, it doesn't matter if they're on the web app, or if they're on Salesforce, or if they're on Microsoft Dynamics, or if they're on ServiceNow, or they did custom integration. It doesn't matter. Everything will still work. There's no feature misses, right? Like, oh, I can't do an attachment with a web app, or I can't do this with a Microsoft Dynamics. Everything is feature compatible. So the experience is exactly the same. And you as a person or as a company that chose to do an integration, get the benefits right away. You don't have to say, well, I need to wait until this other company integrates. It works perfectly well with the web app or custom integration or whatever you're doing. So that is the current state. If you go through the different methods, of course, the web app, as I indicated, it's fully functional. You can pass notes, attachments, all those types of things. And there's some functionality such as single sign-on, et cetera, that's available as well. And the other thing to be aware of is this is obviously where the admin features are. So even if you're using the Salesforce connector, there's some administrative tasks that you do here. And then by using a Salesforce connector does not exclude you from using the web app. So if you have some teams that are still using the web app because maybe they don't have access to Salesforce, that's perfectly fine. So it kind of provides a way to make sure the whole company is still able to access things. And then the connectors are all built the same. So the way to look at the connector and our approach to connectors is step one, get the data into your ticketing system. So for Salesforce, they call that a custom object. That's where it's storing the data that the API is retrieving from the back end. So cases, responses, notes, and attachments, it's all being housed in that custom object. And then there is UI elements that allow you to expose that data within the case, or other systems, you might maybe call it a service request or a problem report or whatever it happens to be. And the fact of keeping this separate allows you to be very flexible on that stage. So if you have, a highly customized case form, it doesn't matter. It's just a simple connection between this object and the case. It doesn't matter how extensive you customize your case object, it will still work. And then we provide several UI elements that allow you to configure this appropriately. So again, our focus here is to try to make this quick and simple for members so that you don't have to contract with a Salesforce developer yourself. This is something that a Salesforce admin can do, install the package. add this UI element, add this related list, whatever is more appropriate for your Salesforce implementation. So all of that's in place and documented for a Salesforce admin to do. And you can see the Microsoft Dynamics connector, very, very similar approach. So they call it a data verse. And again, we have Dynamics UI elements, but it works exactly the same. You have data that's stored in a table. That's where the API is accessing and bringing that. And then you have various UI elements that allow you to link that into your case, leverage flows, and things like that. And both of these platforms do have quite capable automation. And that is where we have started to add to the packages some default automation. So for example, in the Salesforce connector, we've added some automation that allows you to fully automate the inbound request. So it can look up the common customer, it can look up an asset, it can do entitlement, it can do all those types of things, create the case, assign it, all the things that you probably are doing in Salesforce for your extranet, right? So these are all things that are now available in the package. The other big effort has been with documenting everything. So if you haven't been to the new TSANet Connect documentation site, I've got the link here. And you can also find it from the web app. You click on training, it's going to take you here. And again, this documents everything. So the web app, all the connectors, you will see developer if you've got a team that wants to take a look at what would it take to do a custom integration, or how have we built these connectors. And again, as a not-for-profit, we're very transparent about all that. So you can find all that code in GitHub and all the information related here. So this is definitely something that members through membership dues have invested in. So we've made it very transparent. And you'll see this is also where we have the change log and all those things documented as well. And then last but not least, we've got the regional focus groups. If you have not participated in one of these, I highly encourage you to put that on your to-do list for 2026. We have them in North America, Europe, India, Japan, and Australia. Every single one of these, though, actually I will say with the exception of no, actually Japan, we've done it as well. They're blended meetings, and by that I mean there is both in-person and remote options. So for example, if we have a regional focus group meeting in Raleigh and you're from the Bay Area and you can't justify flying out, or it just doesn't fit your schedule, there's a remote attend option. Same with Europe. We're in Ireland. Maybe some people can't make that trip, so a remote option is available there as well. And we're actually starting to see that in India as well. It used to be everybody would attend in Bangalore, but now we are seeing members in some of the other cities. Maybe they can make the trip, maybe they need to have the remote option. So the idea here is to make sure that we've got the flexibility to allow the members to participate in this. And you'll find these are not only about TSANet. So of course, we want to make sure these are good meetups to influence the strategy, for us to communicate what we're doing, to get feedback, those types of things. But they're also top topics for support folks, right? So the last year or two, it's been a lot of conversation around AI and some show and tell on what people are doing, and it's kind of best practice sharing and challenges and those types of things. So it's a great opportunity to come and network and chat with other members. So that is the regional focus groups. So then moving into the plans for 2026. And again, I had that very high level 3-year roadmap, but I've drilled it down into a 2026 plan. Again, still fairly high level, but hopefully get a little bit more sense of how things are looking. And again, we do plan on having quarterly updates through 2026 as well. So these are, again, opportunities for you to kind of see what's new, what we're doing next, and again, reaching out to us if something doesn't make sense. So if you take a look at Connect, we have Connect 3.0 development happening all in 2026. We have a technology committee that we are putting back in place starting in January. I'll provide a little more details on that. But that's actually how we started Connect 2.0 back in 2023. We put a committee together. They helped define the requirements, and that helped contribute to refining the roadmaps. So we feel that that's important to have that kind of in place and helping guide the development efforts and prioritization. But then you'll see in the first half, the focus on ServiceNow, and then also some select custom integrations. So we do have some that will be starting there. And then for the second half, that's where we see more the roadmap starting to kick on, okay, here's the next connectors, here's the next integrations, here's the way that we can kind of scale this up, because I think that's kind of what we're looking at going into second half 26 and 27 is how to really make sure we have a broad coverage of connectors for the different types of systems members are using. So that's TSANet Connect. I would say that continues to be and will be for 2026 as well, huge part of our budget and spend. Then we have the partner framework. Again, we talked about the solution and OEM support. That is available now. So obviously the action there is to implement that, and then of course enhance it as we may need to. But the idea is to start to get that part of it improving. And then for the service providers in the first half, we're calling it early access. In kind of the theme there is we want to learn, right? So what just works out of the box? What do we need to enhance? What are the different models in place? We feel we have a good understanding of that, but of course, getting in there and actually doing some things is where we see a lot of the requirements come. And then for the limited members, if you remember back in my first slide, we have a huge number of limited members, 800 plus. So we are going to be taking a very close look at what is the process there, what's the policy, how can we grow at least some percentage of that group up into general membership, because we know that that's where they perceive more value, that's where they become more committed to TSANet. That's just where the member experience and customer experience gets improved. So we'd like to see more of those limited members move on up. And then if we look into the second half, we do have for the technology partner programs, the thought there is we probably need some features for the partner managers. And again, we have a few that we've worked with very closely to create that partner framework and try to define, okay, well, these are these types of partners, these are these types of partners, what are the support processes that feed them, how do we properly interface to a partner manager who has to sit there and manage these large partner programs. So we want to kind of make sure that we understand what their role is, and if we can help that aspect with providing some features, we certainly will do that. And then on the service provider side, the thought is going into second half, we are then starting to build partner, trying to understand how we move into the service provider space. So we've kind of taken what we've learned in the first half, and now we're starting to implement some things. And then on the documentation side, we do plan, and you can see that in the documentation hub. There is use cases today. Things are documented on here's what a certified partner program looks like, here's how you set that up, all those types of things are in place. So I would say the certified partner is very robust, but maybe on the solution partner and the OEM side, we can beef that up a bit. So we're going to be providing some best practice documents and case studies there as well. And then of course the regional focus groups, and I put the Security and Technology Committee in there as well. So I could just kind of highlight those and how you could get involved in that. So just from a high level here, not going to spend too much time because I want some time for Q&A. This just kind of covers what I was talking about. So of course, we've got some activity, I'll call it, on the development side, but the other piece that's important is you can see this continuing to integrate elite members. So there will be a lot of emphasis and focus on that as well with Connect. Partner framework, again, there's some development, enhancements, new features, but the other big thing that we want to do is we want to continue to add certified partner programs. So again, that's how we grow. So there'll be a focus on that in the 2026 as well. And then community, of course, we're continuing the regional focus groups. As I said, those are great opportunities. But then the committees, and these tend to be more selection, maybe not as defined as the board members where there's actually voting and those types of things. But we tend to be where we kind of reach out and invite folks into these committees. But if you do want to be involved, if you feel you got something to contribute either to the security committee or the technology committee, please reach out to me.